All right. Okay, so last part here now, we're going to be more technical and go through all the different types of radios and equipment that we have, so you guys can know how to use it. So the main goal is now to just make sure that you know how to actually operate the radios that we have talked so much about. So in all ECU, just to explain that in sort of simple terms, so we have different stages of communication, which is related to distance that you are away from the ship, in all simpleness. So to just make it easy, if you're within 10-minute boat drive of the ship, a handheld unit, a radio unit, will be sufficient. If you are between 10 and maybe 30-40 minutes away from the ship, a shore radio kit like this one with a big antenna will be the appropriate one to use. If you're further away than that, the last sort of way is to use the sat phone. And this one you can be on the North Pole if you like, or whatever, Sahara, and it will still be able to call the ship. So that works anywhere. The limitation here is just the strength of the battery, the strength of the unit. It can't transmit that strongly, so it doesn't reach that far. The limit here is not as much strength, it's just a clear line of sight. So if you would be across the bay here, it can be up to 20-30 miles away, and you will still be able to reach the ship. But as you go normally around the coast or over a hill, it limits the range. So we say about 30 minutes away from the ship by boat is the range of the shore radio kit. So we're going to go straight into it. How to use the first step here is the VHF handheld. So the top button here, that's the volume button. That's also where you switch it on. So you just turn that around and the light will come up. I normally have that a little bit past halfway. It will be set up on 73 and be locked already for you, ready to go. But it's good for you to know how to change channel if needed be. So you just hold the button that has a little key on it, and the key will go away in the display. Then you can go up and down to change channel. The normal channel to communicate with the ship if there's any difficulties or anything that needs more time on the radio is 74. But you have to communicate that before you go up. So you go down again to 73, and it's always good to be in the habit of locking the channel. So that means as the radio goes in and out of your pocket or around to different ones, that nobody changes the channel, so we can always be able to reach you. Another part that's quite important for you to know is how to change the transmission strength. So this one has 3 levels of transmission strength. So you have to unlock it again, so the key is away from the display, and if you press the H/L button, that's high-low, you can change the transmission strength. So now it says mid in the display, that's middle strength, and then it will be low strength if it says low in there, and if there's nothing in the display, it's on high transmission. So that's the strongest transmission there is. For you guys, just always use it in high. If you will be trying to call the ship and you can't get a hold of anyone, it doesn't seem to work. First thing to check is that if the volume is up. Second is to check that you're on the right channel. And then third is to check that you have on high transmission. And then a last fourth way you could check is that you're actually remembering to hold the antenna vertical when you transmit. Because what is easy to do is to do this. It looks maybe cooler, I don't know. But what happens then is the signal goes straight into the ground and up in the sky. So it doesn't work. But if you hold it like that, it has the longest range because it's actually transmitting that way and that way. So to hold it up high and vertical, that's the trick. And then it might suddenly help if you're just on the limit between the on the range limit. And that's the main things needed that's necessary for you to know. Here is the PTT, so push to talk button. So that's that one. For all of these radios, when you press the push to talk button, it takes about 1 to 2 seconds before it starts transmitting. That is also why you want to create a habit of you saying your name several times of the one that you're trying to call. That's why I would say Ella, 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 because it normally takes some time. It's just good habit. It also gives Ella some time to actually pick up that somebody is calling her. So push that in and wait maybe 1 second and then start transmitting. And then of course you have to let go when you're done. And that's maybe the most rookie mistake, is to forget to let go of the push to talk button. And that's mainly it for these guys. Keep the volume up high, make sure to transmit on high, and that you're on the right channel. So that's these ones. And now we're going to go over to the Shure Radio kit. So that's actually just the same, but it's just a boat radio that's connected to a battery that you will carry with you out to the village. So how that works, it's all in here. Maybe we can have you guys stand up and gather around a little bit. So first and foremost, when you open this, and please remember this, guys, the antenna cable should be coiled up like this, and it's very fragile, this cable. So if you guys won't be coiling it properly back up and putting it down in here, and in a worst case, put the lid down with the antenna and the cable still outside, it's very easy to damage the antenna cable. And we just have one spare and a bit expensive. So please be careful with the cable and put it back properly like this. And make sure when you leave the village that the lid closes properly, so that no water or anything will get in, like that. So in here, you guys will find this little cheat sheet that will explain to you all the details of how to set it up. So we'll go upstairs just after this and talk you guys through how to set up the Shure Radio. We'll just show you how to operate the unit while we're still here in the air conditioning. So when you get there, you of course have to put the antenna up, connect the cable to the antenna, get that up right, and then you start up the unit like that. So this one is pretty much the same. If it says low in here, you have to change the transmission strength, I believe. Yes. Well, just talk through the basics. Of course, it's still channel 73. You change that by going up and down on there. If you want to change the transmission strength, there's a high-low button on the microphone unit. So you can press that. Now you see it says low. So then it's transmitting with as low power as it can, and then now it's blank, then it's high transmission. You can also change the channel on here, yeah. So just be aware if you use this a lot, it's easy to hit a button and change the channel. Then you just need to go back to 73. Yeah, and that's mainly it. Here's the push to talk button. It's the same here like another handheld radio that you just hold this about 10 centimeters from your mouth, talk with a normal voice. And of course, this is the push to talk button. So push that first, and then that's it. So that's mainly it for this one. The microphone talk thing can be stored here. The last thing that I think I'll just tell you to give you some context for how this works. You see there's a squelch button here. Now it's a bit of a easy way to explain how that works. So I'll just draw that up on the little board. Got it. So this is a bit of radio, a bit more technical how it works. So on a radio frequency, there will always be noise from equipment or the atmosphere or whatever, nature. So there's always noise on any frequency. But when somebody transmits a message from a radio, sort of a electrical powered radio, there will be on that channel there will be a spike where the chatter will be, then it will go down like that. So that's how if you have an open channel just listening, there will be a lot of noise like that, and then when somebody transmits, it will go up the strength of the signal and then down to just a lot of noise. So you have a squelch function on your radio. So what that does, it's just a line for how sensitive the radio is before it starts sending through whatever it hears on the channel on the speaker. So as the squelch is all the way down, so you see now the squelch is turned all the way down to, so this is like 0 squelch, all the way down. Then all that's above this line here gets transmitted on the speaker. As you turn up the squelch, you increase the level of this line here. So this sort of noise cancelling deal, I would say. So you turn it up, and suddenly you have only what's spoken on power, and is what will be pushed out on these, what will be transmitted on the speaker. So we're just going to turn this up now, and then it suddenly gets quiet, and then the squelch is turned just like that. So now the squelch is placed like that, so everything that's above noise will be transmitted on the speaker of the unit. Now, at times, because of distance to the ship or whatever reason, you might be so far away from the ship. There might be, whatever reason, there might be very weak signal. So that actually, what will be transmitted will be just like that. So that would be me trying to call you above the noise. So what if you really can't hear me, if you really want to, you need to, you can just turn the squelch all the way down. Yeah, now they're talking there. Well, here you can see it works. He's on a UHF. It goes up to a little super box and gets transmitted on VHF. So now this is how, now you just hear everything that's going on. If I'm trying to call you, like signal's really weak, it might just make it true. But as you come in the morning, it's good to it's just good to turn your squelch all the way down and then slowly turn it up so it just goes quiet. Like that. And now your squelch is fine-tuned just above the noise, and pretty much all that's transmitted on power you can hear on the radio. So that's it for how to use these guys, and then we'll go up and then show you how to put it together, the shore radio sort of assembly, the whole kit.